Good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting me for this conference. I'm so pleased to present my paper uh, on tax education. Particularly, my focus will be on interdisciplinary research and both education and research in taxation. I'd like to thank MacTech, MacTech, and especially the president of MacTech for inviting me into this conference, and I wish all the best of this conference and the outcome. So let me talk about the importance of an interdisciplinary approach to research and education in taxation. Very often we look at taxation as an instrument to collect money or revenue, but we need to transition from the traditional thinking of just collecting revenue through taxation. Rather, we need to think about taxation as a tool or a policy tool to enhance our social equity, to enhance our environmental quality, and perhaps to enhance our growth, which is economic growth, and which is more equitable and good for not just only a small amount of people, but for the all people of Mongolia. So how can we do that, and what kind of interdisciplinarity I'm talking about? The traditional taxation is about the policy tool that we see through economics. Secondly, we can look at taxation in the area of accounting. But the more traditional area of taxation is this, that also include law. But we need to think about now taxation in a more social policy perspective. At the same time, we need taxation to look at it more political economy perspective as well. Now, let me talk about first about the legal aspect or taxation education in a more legal perspective, or the legal research perhaps. Taxation is based on tax code, and we all agree with that everything is based on a particular tax code, and I'm sure in case of Mongolia there is a specific tax code that is determining the tax rate, determining the tax sort of obligation of a particular entity, whether it is an individual or a corporation. Now, for Mongolia, it is important for us the education in this area to cope with the transition, and we need more research as well that could enhance the performance of tax department and also those people involved within the tax research and consulting as well. So perhaps my viewpoint here is that we need to understand clearly that what are the loopholes within the tax code that Mongolia may have. The second area of tax education is, of course, the economics and the economic research, but this is also an area of ongoing transformation and transition. Globally, if we look at what sort of transformation happening in tax research, we see in economics aspect that there are issues that's talking about tax compliance issues, talking about tax incidence issues, talking about issues that is intergenerational issues, and these issues need to be incorporated within the tax education framework in the tax department or in the tax college that is under the Ministry of Taxation or Ministry of Finance in Mongolia. At the same time, the Mongolia Association of Practitioner Accountant, or the MACTAC, I would like that there is an emphasis of economics into the whole curriculum. The third area that I'd like to focus is also a traditional area, and I'm sure that Mongolia Association of uh, Accountants are really focusing more on this particular area, which is accounting or tax research and education, where accounting plays an important role. We do not need to forget about that accounting is a tool. And of course, this tool helps us to assess the tax burden of a particular individual or a corporation. Now, this is a challenging area, particularly for Mongolia, as it has got so many international corporations that operating in that country, particularly in providing services to the mining companies and mining companies itself. Now, this accounting is also transforming, especially the international accounting standards is a very serious issue that needs further study and research. The issues of transfer pricing, the issues of thin capitalization, the issues that needs further study and research within the core area of accounting. Now, I will look at this tax area and research education in tax in a more political science research perspective. This is a very important area and viewpoint, particularly for Mongolia, as the country has been transitioning from a more socialistic viewpoint to a more liberal or more capitalist country in the recent years. And we will see this transformation happening, but the political process is such an important precondition for the tax system to operate. And we have many examples, including in Australia. We do have a continuous tax reform, and that can only be possible with the help of the political process, which involve the party in power or in government, and also those who are in opposition. The political perspective of research or tax research and education is important in determining or influencing the issues of individual taxation, tax incentives, tax holiday, and of course how a particular income will be considered as an income or an expenses or so. So our politicians need to be also very clear about the goal in a more sort of longer term perspective, and to make sure that the fiscal sustainability issues are also taken care of. Now, final issue that I'd like to talk about or touch upon is the social policy in tax education and research. And I'd like that Mongolian tax authority or revenue authority will put particular emphasis on the social policy research in education within the tax curriculum. As we know that tax is important for small businesses in particular, because small and medium enterprises are the main or key area of a country or any country. In Australia, we have 50,000 plus small and medium enterprises, and I'm sure in Mongolia too. These small and medium enterprises we need to encourage them to grow, and that's a social policy goal. The family business, the businesses that's built upon 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, and these are something that we need to promote, and that will be only possible if we look at the social policy goals within the tax reform. We also need to look at the jobs issues, the employment. We need to look at social cohesion. We need to look at the environmental issues within our tax curriculum and study and research. We need to look at the transparency issues, which is also social and political issues as well. We need to look at those who are living in the rural area as opposed to in the city area, that how tax could help those people who are living in the rural area within Mongolia. So in conclusion, I would like to say that we need an interdisciplinary approach of tax education and research. And this conference is a timely conference. And I would like that those involved in this conference and listening to my words will be more inclined to use an interdisciplinary approach in education, in tax, rather than just a single disciplinary approach. Once again, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best. I hope to see you sometime next year in Ulaanbaatar, and wish you all the best. Thank you.